Welcome back to the new class, Working Memory Model. We have studied about memory, long-term memory, short-term memory, sensory memory, different processes involved in memory, etc. Next, we have to go in detail about working memory. We know that what is short-term memory? The memory which holds information only for few seconds, 1 to 25 or below 30 seconds, known as short-term memory. And now it's known as working memory, or short-term memory is also known as working memory, because this memory helps the individual to be present in the external world, or to continue a particular writing or reading or doing an activity. We have to remember what we have just done, or we have to remember what we have just done in order to complete that task or activity. So the memory which helps an individual to be present is known as working memory, and it is also a short-term memory. So the important model of working memory given by Ellen Baddeley and Graham Hitch in 1974. It is an original version of working memory, original model of working memory. Then this particular model is also known as multi-component model, because this explains memory in different levels or dimensions, or there are different components related to the working memory, or how working memory processes. That is explained by using different components. That's why this is known as multi-component model. The original model was introduced in 1974, and the working memory is best explained by Ellen Baddeley's working memory model. And according to this particular model, working memory has three components: the phonological loop, the visual spatial sketchpad, and the central executive. So three elements or components in working memory, or working memory processes because of the three components: the phonological loop, the visual spatial sketchpad, and the central executive. The first component of working memory model is phonological loop. Phonological loop processes only the sounds, and it is responsible only for the speech-based information. What we have just heard, that can be processed by the component which is known as phonological loop, and the sounds are processed in one's mind. For example, phonological loop is used in learning new vocabulary, solving a problem, solving a math problem, and also remembering instructions, etc. In all these tasks, sounds are being processed through the phonological loop. And there are two sub-components of phonological loop: phonological store and articulatory control process. Phonological loop's first subunit is phonological store. We can say that this particular subcomponent holds information, especially the sound information or auditory information, for 1.5 to 2 seconds. So it can store only the sound information or auditory information. So this particular subunit is mainly for the speech-based information. And the second subunit is articulatory control process, and this is the subunit which refreshes the phonological store, because we have seen that the phonological store can hold information only for 1.5 to 2 seconds. After that, it should be refreshed. So refreshment of this particular phonological store happen by the processing in articulatory control process. So articulatory control process also converts written material into phonological code, so that it can be registered in the phonological store. So phonological store process only the speech-based information. It can also process the written material if it is converted by the articulatory control process. Okay, so the phonological loop has two subunits. phonological store and articulatory control process. Phonological store the information, speech information for 1.5 to 2 seconds, and articulatory control process refreshes the information in the phonological store, and it also converts the written material into phonological code so that it can be registered in the phonological store. Phonological store is linked to speech perception, and it acts as an inner ear and holds information in the speech-based form. That means spoken words, and spoken words enter the store directly. Written words must first be converted into the articulatory code. Articulatory code means spoken code before they can enter into the phonological store. Then articulatory control process acts as an inner voice, and it linked to speech protection, used to rehearse and store verbal information from the phonological store. The articulatory control process acts like an inner voice rehearsing information from the phonological store. It circulates information round and round like a tape loop, and this is how we remember a telephone number we have just heard, and we can also remember the number of reserved seats in bus or train or vehicle, so we can remember it for a very few seconds. So these all informations circulates round and round like a tape loop. As long as we keep repeating it, we can retain the information in working memory. So the articulatory control process also converts written material, so it can transfer the written material into the spoken word, or it can store in the phonological store. This is actually the picture of the processing of phonological loop. Phonological loop has two subcomponents: phonological store and articulatory control process. Phonological loop stores information like speech or spoken words, and articulatory control process circulates it, and it also converts written material into spoken word. So this phonological store can store that information, written material also, just because of the articulatory control process. So it's just like a tape loop, it circulates